We appreciate your guidance always, Dr. Flowers. Lots of things to follow up on from our intro there. As a celebrity psychotherapist, I'm sure you've seen how gun violence it impacts hip-hop artists more than any other genre. It's not even close. I wonder what worries you most about the effects of that on hip-hop culture and the conversations that are had within it and about it.
You know, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And I just want to say that, you know, I'm so sorry to his family and to all of his friends and all of his fans out there. And I have to say that I think the thing that worries me the most is what we're seeing on social media and the instant posting that we see on social media.
Right.
You know, when this happened last night, there was instant live Facebook videos coming out while he was dying. And then upon his death, they were showing him on Facebook taking his body out. And so absolutely, we're seeing more and more and more of this, but we're seeing a lot of families and fans and friends experience severe trauma just related to the videos being posted on Facebook and social media.
Yeah, and it's so interesting you say that, because that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I saw, because of that, then immediate conversations about collective trauma. Obviously, you're grieving the loss of this person, but then you're grieving that you have to see such horrific things on social media. What impact does that have on people, whether they even knew who this person was or not, that they could be scrolling on social media like they do any other day and see something like that?
You know, I have to tell you that Harvard Medical School, School of Psychiatry, recently published a study that said that when we see trauma online, that we tend to play it over and over and over again. And when we see trauma live, we see it, we leave the scene, and we memorize it or we think about it. But when we play it over and over again on social media, it has an even greater effect on our minds, and a negative effect on our minds, and causes PTSD and depression and long-term anxiety related to that trauma of seeing it online.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I want to point out to people, even parents who may not know who the Migos are, they have been a very popular, huge group for the last 10 years. So they have fans that range from, I mean, middle school to people who are well out of college like myself. So that means that, you know, we're all coping in different ways. So for parents who have teenagers that listen to rap music, how can they check in on their kids about how they're grieving, if they're grieving?
You know, the best way to do it is that what I always say is open conversation. Have a conversation about what happened last night. Have a conversation about safety. Have a conversation about proper use of social media, and talking about feelings. Gathering people around our dinner table like we haven't done in so many years, but gathering your children around and asking them how they feel. Just simply by saying, how do you feel about this loss that we're having? We're seeing way too much of this.
Yeah. And then, you know, for us adults, I'll speak for myself, it feels abnormal to mourn someone that I do not know personally in any way, shape, or form, but explain to people what to do with that feeling, if it is abnormal or not.
Yeah. You know, what you have to do is you have to process it. You know, millions and millions and millions of people did not know Kobe Bryant when he was killed in a helicopter crash. And his wife, I just need to say, his wife was just awarded something in the neighborhood of $31 million because his photos were posted online by public safety and the sheriff department. And last night, what we saw was people posting online. And again, it causes trauma. It caused Vanessa Bryant trauma. It caused Kobe Bryant's children trauma.
Yes.
And we're seeing that over and over. So what we have to do is we have to process it. We have to talk about it with our school counselors. We have to talk about it with our parents, with our children, with our friends, and just talk about what can we do to be a better society.
Yeah. I wonder, you know, Dr. Flowers, obviously there's an obvious conversation here about gun violence and guns that, you know, we will have those conversations. But I want to ask you what conversations you hope happen in the hip hop community so that this is not normalized, that I don't have to keep talking to you about another rapper.
And that is my greatest fear, is that when we see something over and over and over again like this, it starts to become normalized in our society. And the last thing we want is for this to be normalized. And so having the conversation about gun violence, about laws, you guys, everybody, voting is coming up. Get out and vote. Vote, vote, vote. has the power to vote, and we need to change laws on guns and gun control and semi-automatic weapons and things like that that are hurting and killing everyone from the rapper community to everyday communities all over the world.
Dr. James Flowers, as always, I appreciate your insight on tough days like this. So thank you so much for coming and stopping by.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Absolutely.